I want to bring in Kevin Madden, now political operative and former senior advisor to Mitt Romney's presidential campaigns. Talk more about the race and, more importantly, what is ahead for both Republicans and Democrats. Kevin, good to see you. You have to appreciate Walker's concession speech last night. I mean, he was gracious in his loss, saying that he's not going to give any excuses. He put up a heck of a fight, and then encouraging people to believe not only in America, but in their political elected leaders. Do you think this is the last we have seen of him on the campaign trail or in politics?
Well, it's great to be with you, Marni, and I think he should get credit for offering a gracious concession speech. Gracious concession speeches used to be the norm. Unfortunately, the last few years, because of the Trump effect, they haven't been. So for a Trump-endorsed candidate to finally concede, to give credit to the process and give credit to his opponent for winning a free and fair election, that's a good thing. But, you know, if we step back and look clinically at Herschel Walker as a candidate, he was a very poor candidate. He was not good on the issues. He wasn't the best fundraiser. He didn't have a classical background in management or even business that really made a case for why he would be a great U.S. senator. So I think with this loss in a state where, and at a time with the political environment that actually favored Republicans, for Herschel Walker to lose a general and then to lose a runoff, I think we've probably seen the last of him as a candidate statewide in Georgia. Maybe there's some other House seat that is very favorably, districted in a way that's going to, ensure that a Republican can get elected to it somewhere in Georgia. But I think for a statewide race, we've seen the last of him.
Well, and at the end of the day, a loss is a loss, but this was not a landslide. I mean, we had to go to a runoff to begin with, and then the margins were still pretty thin when the results came in last night. So you have to think the Republicans and Democrats are strategizing, going back to the drawing table ahead of 2024, going, all right, what worked, what didn't work? Because clearly Georgia is a battleground state. It is a place that has turned purple where it was red before, at least in this race. So let's talk GOP first. What did they do, or what do they need to do ahead of 2024 so they're not in this spot again?
Well, look, it was a huge missed opportunity. It was a close race, but the actual environment should have favored Republicans. And it didn't in this race because the Republican Party profile right now in the most important swing areas of states like Georgia is toxic. And the main reason that it's toxic is that, first and foremost, is the Trump effect. So many of these Trump-endorsed candidates that were outside of your more conventional candidates trying to appeal to voters on things like the economy and things like big issues like healthcare and energy. So many of them lost because they ran campaigns that were more focused on election denialism, or they were more focused on things like cultural issues. And so the lesson has to be that candidates have to get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Earlier in your broadcast, there was Senator Schumer was talking about last night's results, and he mentioned a quote from Lindsey Graham that Democrats did a better job of finding candidates that talked about issues that voters cared about. That is the most no-duh political advice I've ever heard. It's very simple. It's a very simple formula. Get good candidates and talk about the issues that matter. Unfortunately, in this campaign, too many candidates on the Republican side didn't do that.
Right. And Democrats clearly cannot rest on their laurels, right? This was a close race, and every race moving forward has to be paid special attention. I want to get your reaction, Kevin, to the tax fraud convictions levied against the Trump organizations in the news late last night. The former president not directly implicated, but some of his organizations were, according to a jury. Does this weaken his political position moving forward to 2024?
So, yes, the answer is yes, because this goes back to your earlier question. It's like, what do Republicans need to do to move forward? And I think anytime you have a party that has a leader as prominent as Trump and has as firm a grip on the party's profile, and constantly having that person having to explain away issues that are not central to people's reasons for voting, which is their own economic situation, their job, their health care, and rising energy costs. When it's always about past business dealings and controversy and scandal, it just hinders a party's ability to really drive home a message and really appeal to voters about their core concerns. So Donald Trump has a firm grip on the party's base right now. But with each one of these allegations, with each indictment, with each new controversy, it starts to loosen. And so that's what the 2024 GOP primary is likely to be about. It's going to be essentially a proxy battle for, do you want to be a party that's a cult of personality whose image is defined by one person, or do you want to be a party about big ideas?
All right, Kevin, always good to see you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Great to be with you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.